What is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, and today we are going to be chugging along here. We're almost done. We're on the train to recap every pick the Baltimore Ravens made in the 2024 draft here on Russell Street Report, brought to you by DNL Tinting. Go check out dltinting.com. Thank you to them for sponsoring this series on the Russell Street Report. And we're going to kind of, get to one of our last guys, Devin Leary, pick in the 6th round, a pick that if you guys follow me on Twitter, I was pretty critical about. I was critical about the allocation of a draft pick to the quarterback position, even with Tyler Huntley being gone. There were other ways I would have went with it, and the Ravens rebounded really nicely, in my opinion, by picking up a guy like Bo Braid as a UDFA, and then also adding a couple of those offensive linemen in the UDFA period. So I think they answered pretty well. At this point in the draft, you're really focusing on who you want as priority free agents, and then using your draft picks in this, bottom of the 6th, 7th round to go and get them and make sure that, you don't have to fight other teams to sign them. And so, picking a quarterback when you have Lamar Jackson, it's really, just having a competent, viable, developing quarterback. Josh Johnson is right at the end of his career. We don't really know what Malik Cunningham is. Is he a quarterback? Is he a receiver? How are the Ravens going to use him? So I think it speaks volumes to the situation the Ravens are in. Obviously, you want to replace Tyler Huntley, and you want to have a guy that can come in and, be able to win you games. And so they do that with Devin Leary. We're going to take a look at his game, looking a little bit at the statistical measurements. And I absolutely love these PFF heat maps where they really show the location of the ball, because this heat map speaks so well to Devin Leary. Really struggles on the sidelines, is really good in the middle of the field, and the film supports that 100%. And you can kind of see in some of his adjusted completion percentages, middle of the pack as a college football starter. But one thing that I really wanted to point out to folks is really on this turnover worthy percentage. So 4.4%, that's tied for 22nd best in the NCAA, which is pretty solid. And pressure to sack percentage, not too bad. Average time to throw, he gets the ball out. So when I'm thinking of a backup quarterback, I need a guy that can come into the game and manage the game for me. So I need a guy that can come in, avoid turnovers, use the run game to their advantage. We're going to take a look at what he does in play action and how that pairs really well. And that's something that I think Devin Leary actually does quite well. When we take a look at average time to throw is on the bottom axis, sack rate is going up the vertical axis, and you see Devin Leary land right here in the middle, which is good. He gets the ball out, doesn't take a high amount of sacks. This is kind of right where I would want him. Obviously we want to see a lower sack rate, but he's not in trouble in that area, and by any means, and he's definitely not taking a lot of sacks, and he's getting the ball out on time, which means going through progressions, getting the ball out on time, all things we want to see. I think the real frustration with Devin Leary, and the first 4 plays we're gonna look at is him making some of the outside throws, because after I went through, there's really not a throw that he can't make. And I think this was kind of the story of his career. He was a guy that had a really phenomenal 2021 season and then never really took that next step as a college quarterback. And he's older, obviously, relative to his peers. And, it's like, why didn't you take that next step? And then you kind of watch the inconsistencies, and it really speaks to just how hard it is to consistently make these types of throws. So here we're going to start. We're going to get a nice little breaking route here and just, threading the needle outside. Really good read, a little bit of the play action in the back, trying to get them to choke up on the play action in the back from the receiver. And Leary's, locked on here. We're going to get this little in-out route, and Leary on time, down the field, just a really nice sideline throw. Thrown with precision. And then you go into this Tennessee game this year where he played phenomenal and just making throw after throw to the outside. So you're going to see this deep throw, thrown only where his guy can get it. It has to get high pointed with no separation, but thrown right to his back shoulder, and his guy gets up and makes the play. So again, outside the numbers, deep throw, extremely well placed. Keep chugging along here. There's going to be another one right on the break. So you're going to see this is just a nice little breaking route. So right at the top, right here, we're going to get up. And then we're going to break. And just look how on time it is. Right there. Hasn't even turned. Leary's already got the ball out, moving towards him. Right in the breadbasket. So, like, you know, in this game, he's just on. He's making every throw outside the numbers, thrown with precision, downfield, all things that you want to see. He's going to absolutely thread the needle here, again, in the end zone. You know, he picks up the route from the running back. Is it the running back? He should be. Oh, they're in, I think it's going to be 7 that's going to leak in and out. Yeah, so you see that little, it's like almost like a bit of a wheel, and he's just going to hit his guy perfectly, gets the lineup with the matchup with the linebacker. And so, you know, I was watching that Tennessee game. It was the first game I watched. I'm like, my God, he's making all these outside throws. What am I missing? And then I get into some of these other games, and you start to see the misses outside the numbers. And it just really shows. So, like, that chart that I just showed you guys, that's why I like that, because it is relative to the number of pass attempts. It's not biased by, you know, having one good game, one bad game, and it also rates you against your peers. So you're going to get a lot of these opportunities. So you can see the breaking route here out of the slot. It's going to get kind of that old school, what do they call this, arrow or bow, where you're kind of getting the deep clear out, and then you're going to get that breaking route out here into that cleared out space. And, you know, they get it perfectly. Underneath defender, pulls the DB here. The deep defender pulls the sideline corner. And so that just creates this massive area. So these are the types of, like, this is a difficult throw. You know, he's throwing it 20, 25 yards downfield, and he just airmails his guy. And so this is the type of stuff that happened way too frequently for me, for a quarterback that's been playing this long. You know, this is the type of polish I'd want to see from an older quarterback. And yet we still see these instances on his film. You know, another one here where, you know, I think they're running this out of a 3-man bunch, and, you know, you're going to get this break right here. You know, we got a good 5 yards of separation. The ball's coming out on time, and the separation's still there, but it's just thrown too high. Wide receiver shouldn't have to get up like that for it. Not if there's maybe if you're trying to throw a contested ball at the sideline where you want to protect the ball, but not when the break has that much separation. So it was just kind of incident after incident of these types of throws where you're just like, you know, what's going on here? And they're not happening with a high amount of pressure. You know, in the last two, wasn't really a big concern. You know, we see here blitz picked up well, and, you know, almost just throwing a pick on. This was going to, like, if you go back to the first play of the Tennessee game, that really nice back shoulder deep, he almost threw it like a fade where only his guy could get it. This is the opposite. It's thrown to the front shoulder. You know, it's underthrown. You know, just not a good pass. So these are the types of inconsistencies that just were glaring, and this is where, you know, you got to be concerned. If he needs to come in and be a backup, you can probably get away with that type of stuff, because we're not going to be looking for big time plays. We're going to be looking for him to manage the game, use the run game, make smart decisions, that sort of thing. But not necessarily if he needs to come in, you know, and be a starter where he's starting multiple games and needs to make throws all over the field. And then I want to take a look at what he does on play action, because, again, I'm thinking of Leary. I'm trying to evaluate him in the context of if he ends up on the field in the next couple of years for the Ravens, it's because Lamar Jackson has gotten hurt, and we need to get through this game. And, you know, Kentucky uses a lot of zone run action where they use, you know, play action boots, where he throws quite well once he gets outside the pocket or on the move and off play action. And super relevant because it reminded me, I don't want to compare him to him, but the way these play action plays were going, it reminded me a lot of Ryan Tannehill with Derrick Henry, you know, behind that run game, just simplifying his game, simplified reads, working off the run game, making smart decisions. So when he was starting for Tennessee, when their run game was humming, you know, you get plays like this. So, you know, off play action, on the move, and just, you know, making good throws. That's a little high. Like, you know, it's kind of speaks to that inconsistency outside the numbers. You know, you see there's a leap there, but I mean, it's his hands. I debated putting this in, but it really showed the boot action. I actually felt he was pretty good on the run, but again, this just kind of speaks to the inconsistency outside the numbers, but I also think that could have been caught. It's hitting his fingertips. So again, we're off the play action here, and we're just going to throw a bullet up the middle of the field. Really good ball placement, and the most important thing here is how he throws these bullets. Like, these are straight up bullets. Right in there, right in the bucket before the safety can step up. That was kind of a signature. Here we go again, play action, and, reading his man, getting that out. This was something that I think he really excelled at as I was going through his film, and it just, really lends itself to what he could be asked to do in Baltimore if he has to play. Again, nice ball coming out here over the linebacker's head, right onto, his receiver. I find the ball placement in the middle of the field's really good, and I find that the velocity on the ball is really good. So stuff that I think lends itself really well, this type of stuff. Just a bullet over the middle of the field here. Just a little slant play, but he just throws bullets. So I think that exploiting the middle of the field is something that he can definitely do. There you see it again. And then we're going to see a nice little bit of a play action. He's going to find his tight end and just flick it in there. So I think we see it again here. Really competent on the play action game in the red zone. There he's on the move. Lets this guy get open. Throws that in there. Again, it's easy to see a path where he could be like, and this one of the nicest passes I saw on his film, because he's throwing that into a bucket of 4 Volunteers. And again, the ball placement right on to where his guy's going, that's the ball right there. And, it's perfectly placed with 4 guys around. Nice catch, nice haul. Can't beat that. Another play action here. And then, finding his man on the deep in breaking route. He actually takes that for 6. That's a touchdown on this one. So that's kind of what I see in Devin Leary's game. I didn't spend a whole ton of time, but I felt like through his, and I didn't look too much at his NC State. That's a little bit of a criticism of myself, but I felt really good about what I saw in his Kentucky film, kind of aligned with some of the scouting reports I'd read after they had drafted him. So I think you're going to get, that inconsistency. I don't think he's going to be able to come in and make big-time throws. I don't think he's going to be able to lead a comeback for you. But I think he can become a good game-managing quarterback, especially with a good run game, which is the exact situation he's in here in Baltimore. And, his ability to avoid turnovers, to, be able to make smart reads, protect the football, play smart. That's just what we want to see. So that's what I have for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here, drop a comment down below. What do you think of Devin Leary? What did I miss? I want to hear it. Go ahead. Let me know. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.